Hello, my name is Frank Christensen and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF in Europe. In today's training tape we're looking at illegal shift. So we'll look at how much is enough and how much isn't enough, and when is it a false start and when is it a shift. But before we get to there, let's have a look at what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic.
In the rulebook, we start in 2.22.1 shift definition. A shift is a simultaneous change of position or stance by two or more offensive players after the ball is ready for play before the snap for a scrimmage down. B. The shift ends when all players have been motionless for 1 full second. C. The shift continues if one or more players are in motion before the end of the 1 second interval. Rule 7.1.2 deals with shift. After a huddle or shift and before the snap, all teammate players must come to an absolute stop and remain stationary in their positions without movement of the feet, body, head, or arms for at least 1 full second before the ball is snapped. And 7.1.4 goes on to say, at the snap, Team A may not execute an illegal shift. In the MOFO, the when in doubt principle says, when in doubt, the 1 second pause after a shift has been violated. And in the wing section, section 13.2, for linesman and line judge, number 5 says observing illegal shifts is a priority. Team A never set or 1 second pause after simultaneous movement by one or more Team A players. And that was the book. Now let's have a look at some game film. In this first example, we're looking at the slot back here at the closest to the camera, and as he goes into motion, and here we know he's going to be in motion when the ball is snapped, but before he goes into motion or at the same time, if we're looking at the tackle and the guard on this side, they go from a 2-point to a 3-point right there, and that is simply too much. When they change position from a 2-point position to a 3-point position at the same time, as right now we've got 3 players moving, and as we all know, when more than one player moves, then everybody has to stop, which doesn't happen here. So this is something that we need to catch, and the only one who really has a good shot at catching this is the wing on this side of the field, because he is focused on everybody on his side of the ball. The umpire may see the guard do this move. The referee or the center judge may see the tackle go down, but they won't have a good feeling for when that happens in relation to the slot back. On this play, we're looking at both of the wing backs, but if we start on the left side with 8.29, and he does maybe he's supposed to go in motion, but that is a little jerky, and then he stops. And the reason he stops, we'll see if we look at the wingback on the right side, because he does pretty much the same move. So whether one of them was supposed to go in motion and then they both see the other one go in motion and then they stop, I don't know. But in any case, this is certainly too much movement to let go. If we could, I'm perfectly fine with this being a false start, just because both of these movements you can interpret as being jerky, flinchy, simulating the start of the play, but at the very least this should be an illegal shift. Same team, maybe even the same wingbacks, but compare what they do on this play. Now, first of all, this is just a lot of shifting around. Now everybody sets, and then they both move. But in this situation, this is a little bit more soft, a little bit more mellow, the way they move. So I'm perfectly fine with this being an illegal shift, which it needs to be. But as opposed to the other one that was more towards a false start, this is correctly called an illegal shift, simply because they're both moving, but it doesn't the same way, it doesn't simulate the beginning of a play. On this play, we're looking at the slot back and the wing back, so A2 and A84 away from the camera. And A2 is going to go into motion, and as he does that, A84 is going to move his feet just a little bit, just so we know what we're looking for. So right there, technically we have two players moving here. In real life, we would want this to be a little bigger before we want this called as an illegal shift. I mean, this is not something that simulates the start of the play. It's not something where the defense will think that now the ball is being snapped. It doesn't mess up any coverage. It really doesn't do anything for Team B that this happens. So we're fine with this very, very small movement of his feet and upper body by A84. It really needs to be a little bit bigger than this to rise to the level of an illegal shift. In this last example, the slot back away from the camera is going to go into motion, but we really want to pay attention to the offensive backfield and see what they do, because once we know who's in motion, now we want to look at the second guy to see if that movement is enough. And if we look at the quarterback, I mean, he is moving around. Technically, that is moving. He's moving his hand, his upper body, but we never want to include the quarterback, and it's dangerous to say never, because if the quarterback were to move from where he is right now in a shotgun and move under center while the receiver is moving, is in motion, that would be too much. Now we've got a shift. But the fact that he's gesturing to the motion guy to start, moving his feet around a little bit, that is pretty much the same as we had before, where A84 is moving his feet and his upper body. That's just not enough for a foul. If we look at the running back who's right next to the quarterback, it's really much more of the same. I mean, he moves his upper body a little bit, but again, it does not change anything for the defense, their coverage, their understanding of when the ball is going to be snapped. So again, it's just not enough for an illegal shift, where we really want two players to be moving a lot, or at least one of them to be going from a 2-point to a 3-point stance. And that was the training tape. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.